All right, I've gone through all the tracks. Just move through the beats. Do your thing.
All right, everyone, let's hear it for West High's own Brooke Turner, a.k.a. DJ Hook.
Scratching at my first school dance takes confidence. So getting into college, I've got what it takes. Okay, I went through the practice sessions. I slept good. I feel good.
We will now begin the test. Please take out your pencils.
I got this.
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you had the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help us get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your piggy bank. Remember when you were a little kid? All the dimes and quarters in my back? Yeah, that was good times. Good times. Now lately, I gotta be honest, you've been ignoring me. Money's been slipping through your hands like a greased pig. Get it? Because Anyway, I know how it is. Now that you get a real paycheck, it's nice to have stuff. You'll start saving money next year. Well, I hate to tell you, but good saving habits start now. Put just $20 in the bank a month. Make your own coffee at home instead of that latte every morning. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Those changes alone could save you thousands of dollars a year. Come on, I'm your piggy bank. We can be together again, me and you, the special times. Anyway, if you don't want me to cry anymore, feed me. Go to feedthepig.org for more ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond. It's time to get your morning going. Spicy.
We are going to wreak havoc. Only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Rashid Shaheed. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. All live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Wednesday morning, March 25th. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on Fitz the Bill, 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. Also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as we always are. And, of course, if you want to be part of the show, head on over to Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch the stream live. You can also be part of the stream and be part of the show by calling or texting in to the Radkey Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. Man, there's a lot that happened yesterday since we wrapped up the show. Someone got fired. Do you know the Twitter account, Alan Curry Hicks Saga?
I do not. I'm not familiar.
So it's a faceless, nameless account, except for it being Curry Hicks Saga. And they are always on it. They are one of the most plugged in guys or gals, I don't really know, when it comes to coaching news. A week ago, they predicted Randy Bennett to Arizona State, Calhoun to Cincy, and what was the other big move that I'm completely blanking on right now? But they've predicted all of the major coaching moves of the offseason so far. They're predicting another, quote, gargantuan news source to come out today. So that could mean Bill Self leaving Kansas. That could mean what we were texting about this morning, Will Wade to LSU.
Will Wade's not going to LSU, man. I refuse to believe that nonsense. There's no way.
But that's all to build on. Hubert Davis, man, he's out as the head coach at UNC.
Yeah, I have questions on that. Was the report that they were keeping him, was that legit, or did we all just get fooled? Because, yesterday or probably, first thing in the morning on Monday, there was a report basically saying, the donors didn't have the money or were worried about the instability it would cause. And now it's they're all in. They're like, hey, let's do something different. Let's think outside the UNC box.
Yeah, thank goodness they're thinking outside the UNC box. But another report, I mean, there's been so many contradictory reports,
Hey,
right?
ask them who's going to be the next coach. That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
that's the only thing that matters. Greg Barnes from Inside Carolina was reporting, this is a quote from his tweet, support among key donors, which was already teetering near the end of the season, cratered for Hubert Davis after UNC's collapse to VCU in the NCAA tournament. It would have been difficult to raise enough money to field an adequate roster for next season without a coaching change, per sources.
Get you a coach. That's our new moniker. Get you a coach.
Get you a coach. But I mean, like, look, remember that Hubert Davis post-game press conference?
Yeah, the long pause and the sip of water.
I got one clip to play from it, and then I've got a clip to play from the old Philip Martelli side of it all. But I think this is when Hubert Davis lost the job in that post-game press conference because, man, this was just such a bad answer.
Dennis Cox, 99 on the Fan and Raleigh. Hubert, why did you go to just a 6-man rotation in the second half?
Because that was my decision.
Thanks, Hubert. Thanks, man.
I can still see the look on his face in the long sip of water.
Yeah, what a time. And then, like, I think Martelli didn't help at all either when he was asked after the game if he noticed UNC was getting tired after they switched to that 6-man rotation. This was Martelli putting the final nail in the Hubert Davis coffin.
Did you notice it looked like from the side that North Carolina was starting to tire down the stretch? Did you notice that?
So I did notice that in the last 4 minutes, we said that I think it was 5 at that point in time. Like we're kind of built for that. Like I said, we compete every day, and our strength coach, Danny Roos, again, as good as there is in the country, and he chooses to stay at VCU. He has everybody pulling him, NBA teams, all these power fours, they all want him. But he loves VCU and wants to be at VCU. And he trains those guys and gets them ready. And then the way that we practice, we're up and down all the time. We're ready to go. So I did. And a couple of those shots that went short, I said, all right, we've got them right here. If we can just make a couple more shots, we're going to have a shot.
Man.
You know, it really hurts free throw shooting, especially when you already have poor free throw shooting.
What is that?
Tired legs.
Yep. Exactly right.
I mean, I have to give a shout out to the VCU strength and conditioning program too, because I'm a product of that from years past. But it has maintained a high level of excellence per se across multiple sports. They know their stuff, and one thing they are adamant about, and I can speak firsthand on this: you will be in shape. You will be in shape.
You will have the legs for free throws at the end of the game. It's
not just basketball. Everything you do, you will not tire out. That's for sure.
You will be ready. But what a tumultuous 5 years it was for Hubert Davis at UNC, right? You get in there, you take over for Roy Williams. You and John Shire kind of happening at the same time, roughly, right? And what do you do in your first year taking over for a Hall of Fame coach? You are in the national championship. You are the runner-up.
How?
And then the next year, you make it to the second weekend. You're Sweet 16. You come into 2024-25, right? Or was that 2023-24? The fact that basketball, both NBA and college, spans a new year is one of the most confusing things in my mind. So I'm just going to say 2024, the next season after the Sweet 16, I believe they were preseason number 1, if not preseason top 5.
That was the beginning of the embarrassment.
Yeah. And they missed the tournament.
Yes.
And then they said, we don't want to play in the NIT. That was kind of one of the first dominoes to fall with all of these power conference teams being like, we're too good for the NIT. Man, play in the NIT, but that's besides the point. 2025 was the fraudulent entry into the NCAA tournament, got a first 4 win, but then lost in the first round. And then what happened this year? Epic collapse, blowing a 19-point lead to VCU, and you're out before it even really starts. And now, Alan, where do the Tar Heels go from here? There's so many different ways to go from here.
There's a couple different names. I guess I'll throw in speculation and a hot take. I keep an eye on Sampson in Houston. He's been kind of vocal about the lack of money that he's getting from Houston.
Man, we're bringing that up later on in this first hour because I
actually did some research. He has a point in comparison to the league that he's in, the Big 12.
See, they don't disclose what his NIL revenue is, what his NIL payroll is, right? but he still has one of the highest operating budgets in the nation.
Yes, that is true.
Now, so NIL, we don't really know, right?
Yeah.
Like you may have some inside sources
The
on
speculation is that his NIL is significantly lacking. Like we're talking,
but his operating budget's $14.6 million.
Yeah.
How about Kelvin? You take some of that operating budget and you put it. I don't really know how NIL fully works, and
I don't know how they disperse the money, but the rumor mill is that his roster is like 3-4 million maybe, but everybody else is operating close to 10.
Yeah,
and if that's true, then yeah, something's got to change for him to like. And I think the last time he spoke on it, it was for him to maintain a competitive team.
Yeah,
right. Like that's a different language, and I kind of feel what he's talking about.
I like Kelvin Sampson. I don't know if that's a big enough swing, though, for UNC, because Pete Thamel, Jeff Borzello, a lot of those guys right now are reporting that they're going to take a huge swing at this. Industry sources say, quote, I think there's plenty of money if they want it. The history, the tradition, the facilities, no doubt it's still at the top. It's North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think they might have to show a little bit extra NIL buy-in from their donors, which I think they will get if they hire the right guy. But Pete Thamel is reporting. You ready for this? Are you sitting down over there? They're going after Billy Donovan.
You know, I heard somebody mention that, and I just kind of laughed it off because I don't know if Brad Stevens' name was thrown out there too.
That's the next.
Do these people want to come back to college, man? Like, why are we just assuming? And granted, it is North Carolina, and it is one of the top jobs in any sport, really. If you talk about like North Carolina head coach for basketball, it's one of the top collegiate jobs anywhere.
You know why I think they're trying to go for these big swings? I think Bubba Cunningham got a little big for his britches after going out and getting Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, maybe I can go get him. But like, here's the thing. Being a college basketball coach, a college football coach, whatever it might be, your life sucks. Like you're getting paid probably some big money, and you're getting a lot of money from donors, and you're the talk of the town and all of this. But you have a 365-day-a-year job, where Billy Donovan, coaching the Chicago Bulls as he is right now, you don't have a 365-day-a-year job.
You don't have expectations.
You don't have no expectations, really.
It's not like you're going to go from Chicago to the actual ghost of Jordan too. Like, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. Now, Brad Stevens, I could understand a little bit more if he wants to go back into the coaching ranks.
He's got a really easy job,
but
too.
he's a front office executive with the Boston Celtics. Unless he's got this itch to get back into coaching, I don't see him making that move either. Some other names that have been floated: Todd Golden, of course, Ben McCollum, Tommy Lloyd, Grant McCaslin, Nate Oates, TJ Otzelberger, Dusty May, and Dan Hurley.
Oates, I can see. Hurley, I can't see. I think UConn could definitely pay whatever is needed to match.
Yeah, because UConn doesn't care about football.
Yeah, and in his situation, I think he's built for that area, coaching wise. I think he probably prefer to stay there. I don't know if his antics are going to work in a southern region. Let's put it that way.
No offense to Storrs, Connecticut, right? But I do think Chapel Hill might be a better destination for the family and for a living life than Storrs. But he does fit UConn really well. I think if you have the money, you want to go out and you want to try and land. I think at the top of your list is Todd Golden and Ben McCollum. Those are the two guys that I am targeting the hardest if I'm UNC. I think Todd Golden is actually going to be really tough to pull away from Florida. I know the industry sources are saying that Carolina is the same elite blue blood destination it always was and it always has been. I'm going to push back a little bit. I think if they do not have the NIL funds and the donor buy-in, it's not the same elite blue blood destination. I think in today's day and age of college basketball, if Florida is able to show you more NIL buy-in there in the Gatorland, you want to stay there because you're more poised to win. He won a dang national championship.
Yeah, I get all that, man. But if Michael Jordan walked into my office and I'm Todd Golden, he asked me to come coach North Carolina, I'm probably,
unless he's putting down $2 million of his own money,
which he could, since he's already winning in NASCAR, probably making boatloads of money.
Maybe now he's like, man, if only I could get my college to win.
It's the pitch, though, man. Like, even when I was at North Carolina and they were playing Georgetown, their pregame video had me hyped.
Yeah, I mean, when I went down there to watch JMU play against UNC, the year they were,
and you literally bought into it, right?
There was that was the year they were preseason number one, and I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, if I'm a player, and I'm sitting on the bench in pregame warmups, and they're doing their pregame video, and I'm looking up to the rafters, and I'm seeing
It's
all of
just
these banners,
jerseys,
and you're
all
just
these
like,
guys.
I'm playing in the Dean Dome right now.
Yes, and then the lights go out, and the
blue
Carolina blue comes on. Like again, even me in real time trying to compose myself got hyped.
It's a spectacle. I'll give you that, but there are still some questions. Bubba Cunningham is leaving. He's leaving as the athletic director. They do have their next guy already pegged. He's a former NASCAR executive. He's going to be taking over. Your Dean Dome, are they going to renovate it? Are they going to build a new place? That is a big question. So there are some questions kind of lingering over the UNC program, but that's not stopping them. They're going to step up to the plate, and they're going to try and knock this one out of the park, man. I think they should go. I'm calling it. I'm going to say Ben McCollum. I want them to go Ben McCollum. I think he is a proven winner, and I don't know if UNC fans would be all that jazzed about it, but guess what he would do? He would win you a lot of basketball games. He has a career win percentage above 75%.
Yeah, and I don't think the level's too high for him. Also, I think his approach is a little bit more modernized, which is something that they would need. But I wouldn't start with McCollum. I think you can get him at any juncture if you're North Carolina. So if you want to shoot for the stars, yeah, try to get Golden. Try to get Hurley. I don't want a guy from the NBA.
Not even a guy who's won multiple national championships.
Not even a guy who's won multiple national championships, because those multiple national championships was like decades ago.
What about Brad Steve? But you're seeing this more and more. You're seeing these college programs go the NBA route because the NBA coaches know how to deal with guys making millions of dollars.
I understand that.
Like you're seeing it at the mid-major level. I think Radford's coach they just hired, he was a former G League guy.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern's guy is a former G League guy. Georgia State. You see it kind of permeating. It's a midweek, and I'm stumbling over my words. I'm thinking too much not to use the word Uber here on this Wednesday morning.
Sorry.
You see it going through a lot of the mid-major ranks. I wonder if you might see power conferences starting to try to poach from the NBA ranks.
I understand people want to get the NBA coaches for the business side of things. And Billy Donovan, no disrespect, great coach, but I just think he's too far removed from the college game. He's been gone for quite some time.
Now, that's a valid pushback.
Yeah. Same with Brad Stevens. Like, they've been gone from the college game.
They won in a different era of college basketball.
Even how they play is different. Like, imagine
Billy
Brad
Donovan.
Stevens
hasn't been a coach for, 7 years now?
Yeah.
He kind of flamed out in Boston as the coach.
Imagine Billy Donovan or Brad Stevens going up against a NATO in that offense and the way they do things, right? Like, they just kind of be out of their element. And what North Carolina needs more than anything is somebody that knows what they're doing in this current landscape. I think when you're talking about NIL and negotiating with players, that'll all work itself out, especially if they've got a general manager, which I think they've made adjustments for that.
I was going to say they need to kind of revamp. They have made slight adjustments for that, but I still do think they need kind of a whole revamp of how their organization is set up and get a better GM in there, get a better coach in there, and kind of have a better analytics department. I mean, you saw UVA this year. Their director of analytics was a big reason why they won a couple of games this year.
Yeah, he got it wrong at the end, but I don't blame him.
But in that moment, you might as well burn a timeout there.
Also, he needs to tell his player, don't ever admit that in public.
Yeah, because we could have been that could have been a whole segment for a whole week. Because I was
on their side until the player was like, "Yeah, it touched my finger."
Yeah, and I was like, "Man, you just ruined a whole week of hot take segments, man."
But yeah, North Carolina's got some structural stuff they would have to sort out. But I think for them, when it comes to the hire, I need the X and O. I need somebody that knows what they're doing, because Hubert Davis was not a good coach. He just wasn't. He made some questionable decisions along the way. We have a prime example when he went to the 6-man rotation, but every time he went up against a team where he wasn't better than them roster-wise, he couldn't beat them.
And I mean, you even look at the time when he had Armando Bacot, right? Like, he had the best big man in college basketball, and it seemed like he refused to give him the ball in the post and let him go to work.
Yeah, Armando had to stretch his shot a little bit.
It's like, all right, we're just going to let Caleb Love just keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting.
He couldn't control Caleb Love. That was another issue.
So I think a lot of people are like hanging their hat on the fact that Hubert Davis, I think, is the first coach in ACC history to start his career with 5 straight 20-plus win seasons. He made it to the national championship. But if you really dive in there, UNC was never as good as it may have appeared on paper, and I think it makes sense to move on from Hubert Davis.
Yeah, man, it makes complete sense. I know he doesn't even have 60 losses in 5 years.
Yeah,
and anybody else would probably be like, "Yo, that's crazy. That's a good record." Yeah, but the expectations, man, like you need Final Four runs consistently. You need Elite Eight runs consistently. Yeah. You can't be preseason number one and not make the tournament at North Carolina.
There is a 2-year period. I mean, 2025, they should have missed the tournament. Yeah. They should have missed the tournament in back-to-back years.
You can get away with that at UVA and a bunch of other schools.
Duke, I don't even know if you can get away with it at UVA.
Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, UConn. We can name a few more. You can't be preseason number one and miss the tournament, man.
That was a tough look, and
they were nice enough to keep him around
for
after
2
that.
more years after that. And if he wins against VCU, if he doesn't suffer an epic collapse, if he doesn't go to a 6-man rotation, if he doesn't have one of the worst post-game press conferences in the history of the NCAA tournament, you know what, Alan? I think he's still the coach. I think he had a perfect storm of everything that could go wrong, did go wrong, probably because of his own doing. And that is why he's currently in the unemployment line. Although he says he wants to coach again, which makes sense. I mean, it makes total sense. Where? I mean, a mid-major would be happy to have Hubert Davis.
Come to Atlantic 10.
Yeah,
I'd love to see you in person.
Maybe not the Atlantic.
No, come on, man.
Maybe when St. Louis.
Ain't nobody worried about Hubert Davis.
Here we go. Dusty May. He goes to UNC. Michigan hires Shirts from St. Louis. St. Louis hires Hubert Davis.
I mean,
that could be fun.
That'd be fine with me. Like I said, anytime I can look across and see Hubert Davis, I got a chance.
Hey, you're not wrong on that one. And VCU, they'd be feeling real happy looking across.
Would love to see him 2 times a year.
All right, let's get a quick break in. We'll step aside. Can rivals come together to root for a common enemy? Dan Hurley has some thoughts on that. We'll break it down coming up next.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
Get ready, Virginia. The Down on the Farm concert series is bringing one of country music's hottest rising stars to Ashland. Josh Ross hits the stage Saturday, August 15th at the Secure Testing Services Pavilion on the Hanover Vegetable Farm. Josh Ross delivers an electrifying live performance you don't want to miss. Live on the Primus Bank stage, it's country music under the stars. Grab your tickets at 10 a.m. this Friday at EPEevents.com. Presented by B&W Builders, Bud Light, Richmond Ford West, Security Plus, Tough Sheds, and Ultimate Pools.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hey, did you miss Clinton and Friends?
The Lakers are officially a problem right now.
Yeah.
They're playing the best basketball that particular conglomeration of athletes has played since they've been together. Luka going off 2 nights in a row. He is talking what we say on the street, cash S. Every single time he puts the ball up.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Amber Indian.
According to Draymond Green, there ain't much talent. You can't field another NBA or 2. The percentage of people that have played basketball in their life that end up NBA players, it's such an unbelievably small percentage that I have a very hard time believing that we can't find another 30 more.
Amber Indian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80. 106.1 ESPN traffic.
There's been an accident on Hull Street Road heading eastbound just before Baldwin Creek Road, causing delays backing up from Beaver Bridge. Taking a look at Powhite Parkway, we are seeing delays heading northbound between Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham Parkway, and expect heavy traffic heading north on 95 between Downtown Expressway and the Lombardi Street overpass.
Game on, Richmond. Crank up 106.1 ESPN play-by-play. Blistering hot takes and nonstop action. Your ticket to the hype. Stay dialed in.
So we mentioned some big names when it comes to the UNC coaching search. They're going to swing big for it. Billy Donovan's name's being floated, Brad Stevens' name, but Todd Golden, Tommy Lloyd, Nate Oates, Dusty May, TJ Otzelberger, well, they've all got massive buyouts, something that a UNC is going to have to wrestle with. Todd Golden's buyout, $16 million. Tommy Lloyd, $11 million. Nate Oates, $10 million. Dusty May, $7.5 million. TJ Otzelberger, $4 million. UNC not only going to have to pony up to build up a bigger NIL budget, but UNC is going to have to pony up just to get a coach if they really do truly want to walk the walk and talk the talk of swinging big here. That might be a reason why they go with Billy Donovan or Brad Stevens. I don't think their buyouts in their contract are upwards of $20 million. So that's going to be an interesting thing to monitor throughout this entire situation on where UNC goes. They've been talking a big talk. They want to take a huge swing. So I would imagine they've got the money to back that up. But if not, look, Ben McCollum's probably the best coach out there that they can get. And I think he'd bring them immediate success. His ability to coach up point guards would go extremely well in UNC, in Chapel Hill. That's the guy I would want if I'm a Tar Heels fan. But look,
of course
I'm not.
You want him because you're an analytics guy.
I've also fallen in love with Iowa during this run. They have just been so much fun to watch.
Wouldn't be a bad secondary option to fall back on. And he doesn't need to know he's the secondary option, because he's a good coach and he's got a lot of upside.
And he doesn't care. Look, as long as you got a couple zeros at the end of that old salary, I don't care if I'm the second, third, fourth, or fifth option.
And listen,
you're paying me now.
If you're North Carolina, you can't take 2 L's. You just lost on the court. You've been embarrassed. You're not going to get embarrassed off the court.
They got to keep this one close to the chest. Yeah. You cannot leak out who you're looking at whatsoever. You got to
Nor can you leak out that you don't have the money to pay a buyout to get that person.
It's going to be good luck, UNC. Yeah, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
You got to keep the mystique that you are a true blue blood. You can take whatever you want.
Yeah, take what you want, when you want, how you want. Some guys that don't have to do that, at least right now, St. John's against Duke, Michigan State versus UConn. We were talking about it yesterday. DC Friday night is the place to be. That's evident in the ticket prices. The ticket prices to get into Capital One Arena on Friday night to see Patino versus Shire and to see Izzo versus Hurley, I think are 4 digits at the least just to get into Capital One Arena, at least last time I checked. And look, you got St. John's, a Big East team, going up against Duke. You've got UConn, a Big East team, going up against Michigan State. And St. John's kicks it off. They get it going. And Hurley is out here saying that rivals need to come together to root for a common enemy. Hurley said yesterday, it will be a live building. It's probably a little bit early, but obviously I think we've got to support each other. It's pretty brutal on Twitter, I think, and socials between our fan bases. But I think we have to try to come together Friday night against our opponent so we can have a bloodbath on Sunday.
Can I tell him?
The enemy of my enemy is also my enemy, and my original enemy is now my friend. That's what Dan Hurley wants.
Yeah, I think Dan needs to do some self-reflection and realize nobody likes you. Nobody's rooting for you. Like, come on. If we're gonna
no St. John's fan is rooting for you.
No Big East fan, no basketball fan for real. Like, I mean, if we're gonna come together for a unified front to root against somebody, most of us don't like Dan Hurley.
I also want to put it in like Richmond perspective, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Alan. I also want to get your thoughts on this on the Radkey Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. Can rivals come together? Like, is there ever a point that you could see a VCU fan or a Richmond fan rooting for one another? Or I'll take it a step further because I know your hatred for George Mason runs deep, right? Would you ever find yourself, is there ever a scenario where you, a VCU alum, would be rooting for George Mason to win a basketball game?
Never.
See, that's the thing. Like
Absolutely not.
the saying goes, the old proverb goes, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's never that the enemy of my enemy is also my enemy, and my original enemy is now my friend. You know what I mean? Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, not my enemy is my friend. And I think Dan Hurley is just trying to he's making this one way too complicated. At the end of the day, St. John should be rooting for Michigan State, and UConn should be rooting for Duke.
We got a text, hey, Phil Martelli to UNC. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Well, we can dive into that a little bit too, though, because you look at some of the the openings, right? It could kind of have this cascading effect down. We talked about it yesterday, but like, say UNC goes out and they poach a Todd Golden, or they poach whoever it might be because they want anyone, then that's going to have a trickle-down effect, and that cascading effect could end up impacting VCU here in the capital of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, obviously, if UNC called Phil Martelli, like, you would definitely take that. But I don't think he's on the P4 radar just yet. I think he needs one more stint to get a Florida or a UNC job.
I would agree with that. I do think he is safe here for another year. I think it'll take another good year. But VCU revolving door. Look at Lying Odom. Man, do VCU fans hate Ryan Odom too?
I don't think we hate Ryan Odom. I think if you look at I was at the Atlantic 10 championship in that particular year, and if you look at how they played against BYU, you get the feeling he had a foot out the door, right? Like I felt that way.
Yeah,
I complained about it in real time when they were playing George Mason. Like, this doesn't even look like Ryan Odom's offense. I don't understand. This looks lazy,
and they still won.
Yeah. So this particular texter,
this texter does not like Ryan Odom. All right, good to know. We can't say some of those words.
I don't have that issue with Ryan Odom. Just like some people, like myself, don't have an issue with Mike Rhodes. Others hate him. You know,
others really hate Mike
Rhodes. A lot of
Rhodes.
people like Will Wade. I don't. That's our fan prerogative, right? Like, that's what we get to do. We get to pick and choose who we like.
So, would you ever root for Will Wade?
All right.
See, here's what I'm saying.
I got stuck rooting for Will Wade because I bet on Will Wade that time.
Well, that was your own
fault. That was
fault.
different. Yes, that was different.
See, but this is where I'm coming to. Can rivals come together to root for a common enemy? Dan Hurley, I think, is just way off base.
Dude, nobody's rooting for Dan Hurley.
Like, it's just so, like,
family and friends only, Dan.
As a JMU alum, right, I would never root for App State in anything. And App State is not necessarily JMU's, like, true rival. I think that's more Old Dominion. That might even be more Richmond back in the FCS days. I would never root for any of them. Let's head on out to the phone lines. We've got Larry on line one. Good morning, Larry. How we doing?
Good. I think you guys are way off on your judgment here. Martelli, his family's young, man. He's not looking to move. Like, the Providence job was open. He's lived in Providence the last 6 years of his life. You don't think he would have been all over that? I mean,
well,
Syracuse?
it takes two to tango. I don't know if Providence was all over Martelli.
Yeah, and I'm also not saying that he'll leave. I'm actually in the camp of he's not going to leave because he just got here. Like, I think it needs to be at least 2 to 3 years before those conversations have any merit, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think you guys are off. I think you're basing it on, like, Uncle Mike Rhodes. I mean, Mike Rhodes left because of the money and stuff. I mean, Martelli's a little different, partner. I mean, it's not going to be
Larry, what if I told you I got a new job for you? I know you love this job. But I'm going to raise your pay by $1.5 million. Are you taking that new job?
Probably yes.
Yeah. Look, when there's zeros involved, the amount of zeros that are involved in these types of things, and I get it. Like, and I was saying it yesterday, right? Like, Martelli, he comes from a family of A-10 royalty. If there is a coach out there in the country that understands what it means to build a legacy and become a legend at an Atlantic 10 school, it is Phil Martelli Jr. And I don't expect him to leave this time around, and I expect it to be hard to pull him away from VCU. But when there is an extra $1 million or $2 million or whatever that number might be, all of a sudden, a lot of the issues that you could foresee or a lot of the things that are keeping you in one place can pull you away. Now, I will say, I don't see him leaving, but like a $1.5 million more, that nice little pay raise or whatever it might be, that can pull a lot of people away from a lot of things.
I'll bet you guys each right now a lunch or whatever you all want to bet that he's here in 2032.
I will happily take that up, Larry. We're talking
to be here in 2032.
We're talking 6 years from now. I will happily take that, Larry. I expect your phone call on March 25th, 2032.
Hey, and then another thing is, like, you know, a lot of people, this VCU job, you know, I've heard from inside sources, people want I've talked to the assistants of UVA before. They like it at VCU. I mean, it's crazy. You wouldn't think that from an outsider. They love the community support. You don't get that at other places.
Yeah.
Even UVA, you don't get it. So, I mean, I've heard from coaches at UVA that they wish they never left. I mean, so basically, I just think I think most people wouldn't realize that. Either did I. But and then going back to your VCU Richmond thing, you know, you got to love all people, right? I mean, why do people so hard and like don't like the Spiders? I go to more Richmond Spider games than their fans do, probably. I mean, it's fun to watch basketball, like cheer for them. Who cares? Like these VCU Richmond, it's not a rivalry to begin with because VCU's on a different level. But I mean, I don't understand these Richmond Spider fans. That's why I won't get close to them, because they hate VCU for some reason. It makes no sense. All right, fellas, take care.
Larry, appreciate you calling in. Have a great rest of your day. We're going to keep it on out in the phone lines. We've got Reggie online too. Good morning, Reggie. How you doing? Long time no talk.
Hey, gentlemen, I was doing a great job. You know, it's interesting that Richmond has re-signed the young man from John Marshall, the shooting guard, and I give Bob Black credit for that. But you have to look at Richmond being very picturesque. It's a pretty place. You know, it's picturesque as far as the campus and everything. But it's amazing how VCU can attract different coaches and get championship results. But Richmond is floundering on the sand like a fish out of water. What do you guys think the problem is? A follow-up, if I may.
Yeah, I mean, the issue, it's such a multi-layered issue. I think I genuinely, Reggie, this is one of the more interesting questions I have been asked time and time again since taking over here on the mic on ESPN Richmond, because truly the issue, I think, lies with the coaching staff. I think they've really got to figure it out going into year 22 of the Mooney era. They've got to figure some things out. They haven't really been able to keep up with the times over these last couple of seasons. They've struggled against Q1 opponents. They've struggled against Q2 opponents, and they haven't beaten up on Q3 and Q4 opponents the way I think Atlantic 10 competition would want them to. I think it's the coaches, and they've got to figure it out. Aiden Argerbright sticking around, the John Marshall product, that's a big step forward going into next season, because we know Mooney loves good guards. Whenever you look at them having NCAA tournament runs, it always starts with a really, really, really good guard. And you could argue Aiden Argerbright is one of the best guards heading into his sophomore season next year in the Atlantic 10. They've got to figure it out, though. And the reason they're floundering, I think it starts with the coaching staff, and they've got to figure some things out.
You know, my issue that when you have people like Johnny Newman, who's a longtime NBA star, and even Michael Perry and Kazik, these are old school guys, but do they even go back to the alumni base to even talk to them? And even Danville, Virginia, where Johnny Newman came from, where they could at least expand their recruiting. It just seemed like they want a certain type of person to mold into the Richmond way. And he's been coached for 28 years, and BCU is taking a slapping stick upside. Every new coach comes in, your initiation is beat Richmond. Oh, check that. No problem. Slap them around a little bit and keep them moving. You know, so I don't understand, 28 years. I know he had a health issue, and I'm glad he recovered from that. And everybody had the COVID issue. But come on, with the money they have, I mean, I know H. Robbins used to get money before they collapsed that company, but they don't have big donors, old money out there to help the basketball program.
I don't know. Look, they're a private institution, right? So they're able to keep everything behind closed doors. They don't have to release stuff like VCU. I FOIA'd the contract, or I guess the extension Martelli signed a couple of days ago. So we'll be able to have access to that in the next day or so. All of these schools around the Commonwealth are public institutions. So all of their money, their finances, for the most part, is public information. For Richmond, it's just not that way. And so I think it's really tough to figure out where the money is going, how much they're investing into their men's basketball program when it comes to NIL, when it comes to paying for their roster. So it's tough to say, because you're right. They do have a large donor base. They have a lot of wealthy alums, but where is that money going? Is it going more towards academics? That's kind of what my thinking is. That's what I'm led to believe, rather than the athletics of it all.
Real quick, what do you guys think about Charles Barkley doing play-by-play with Dick Vitale?
I don't know if this is a hot take or not, Reggie. I did not like it. I think it turned into a talk show for 2.5 hours or however long that game was. I think it kind of took away from it. And the issue with it, and maybe this is me getting on my high horse as a play-by-play guy sometimes, but
that's why I'm asking.
Your job, your role as a play-by-play broadcaster is to tell the story of the game, right? Your job is to help highlight who's making the plays and highlight the kids and everything like that, and do it that way. It felt like it was a 2-hour talk show for Barkley and Dick Vitale just to wax poetic about the issues of college basketball. And it took away from the first four, which for some of those kids might be the first and only time they ever make it into the NCAA tournament. He hit a shot, that should be celebrated. He hit a three, that should be celebrated, a dunk, whatever it might be. And instead of being celebrated, the commentary was about how horrible NIL is for college basketball.
Come on, Alan. I know you got your thoughts.
Yeah,
the clear throat. That's how you know it's about to be serious.
I didn't have a problem with it, man. It's Dick Vitale's swan song. He's given enough to the sport of college basketball. I know it does take away from the moment of the athletes in that particular juncture, but he's given enough for me to give him grace for one game where he can meander.
That one game should happen.
That one game he can meander through the telecast, and we can essentially get our chance to say goodbye. I think that was his first time participating in March Madness and last. So I'm not gonna be too upset about it. If I see him anymore, absolutely we'll have something to say about it. And then on the Richmond, Barkley's fine. It's just not his area. He's better off in the studio.
Yeah.
But the Richmond thing is multi-layered. I will say bluntly, people wanted change. They did not get the change that they wanted. So you have what you have, and what you have needs to change. I think everybody knows that. I think the coaches know that. I think the Spiders know that. I think the fans know that. So if changes are made, we can maybe see some progress, but I think a lot of what's going on with Richmond is complacency, and that complacency is dangerous. One thing about VCU is VCU's not complacent. One thing about programs that continue to maintain a level of consistency, and we consider them to be staples of winning, they're not complacent with that. They're always looking to get better, always looking to make changes. I think somewhere along the way, Richmond thought this was good enough, and they stayed in that lane. And because they stayed in that lane, everybody else is either going forward, going backwards, switching lanes, and the people who have been making changes have passed them. So Richmond needs to get out of this mindset that it's good enough and realize it's not good enough. Where do we start to fix this? And I think getting Aiden Argabright back is a huge piece of that.
I think that shows they've got some buy-in.
Kid.
They've got some more NIL because I can guarantee you he had big time offers. You're not one of the best rookies in the Atlantic 10, and you don't get a couple million thrown at you in the offseason.
So that's a good start.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, Reggie. Hope to talk again soon. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Richmond.
We got to get a quick break in here. We'll step aside. We'll be back with some news or snooze. Oh, we're keeping it here on this Wednesday morning, going right on out to the phone lines, keeping it on over there on line number 3. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, on Richmond, I think that the program has switched from a serious basketball program to one whose seemingly only goal is to keep Chris Mooney employed as head coach. And there seem to just be constant excuses every year. There's some other reason why we weren't able to compete in his terms. We weren't good enough here. He came out the other day and said we didn't make enough 2-pointers. Well, you're the coach. Do something about it. Recruit guys that can shoot better. Recruit guys that can rebound misses. Do something. And it's just, I'm glad Argabright's back. He's a dog. He's a great player. But honestly, if it would have led to a coaching change, I would have been okay with him going somewhere else where he could win. I think as fans, this is 19 days now since John Hart sort of casually said, yeah, Mooney's coming back. And we have heard nothing from John Hart for 19 days. And I think, to me, that's unconscionable that you're an athletic director. There's no explanation. There's no formal statement. There's no letter. There's nothing. It's just, yep, he's coming back, as if it was never in doubt. And that tells me that he's just not serious about it. And I don't know why. We've got everything we need to be a real big player in this space. And there's not the motivation to do it. And it's just mind-blowing to me.
You do hit a very good point with Hart not making a statement. I personally would love a statement. Like, I think that is something that is really needed. Even if Mooney was here for only 5 years and it was a slight down year or whatever it might have been, you know what I mean? Like, when you have a fan base that is pretty darn vocal, like it is a vocal fan base. We hear it here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We see it on social media. The Richmond administration is also seeing that. I think there is something that you owe to the fans to tell them why that decision is being made, even on a year-over-year thing. And look, I know you're probably tired of it, the fact that I keep bringing up JMU, but something they do really well is having this monthly, quarterly kind of just State of the Union address. They did it a lot with Jeff Bourne when Bourne was the old athletic director at JMU, where like every couple of months, it would just be kind of this overarching statement breaking down why some of the decisions were made, kind of just giving an explanation and essentially a State of the Union on the JMU, athletic department and where it all is. I think that's something that athletic directors as a whole across the country owe to their fans, especially when a big decision is made, like keeping Mooney around for a 22nd year.
Yeah, you saw the athletic director at Memphis do that. The athletic director at Pittsburgh did that because they knew their fans were going to question, why are these guys coming back? And those guys haven't been there a third of the time that Mooney's been here. And so it's just, I don't know, man. It just seems like the athletic department doesn't care. And maybe they really do care, but their actions demonstrate that they don't. And so as fans, it's really difficult to kind of rationalize their words with lack of any meaningful change year after year.
Let me ask you a question here before we let you go, because I am genuinely curious about this. Is there anything Mooney can do here in year 22 that will get the Richmond fans back on board with Richmond? Like, is it an A-10 tournament title? Is it a deep NCAA tournament run? Is it just getting over 20, 25 wins? Like, what is it that Mooney can do to get the Richmond faithful bought back in?
I think there's a few things that he could try. One would be to publicly comment on the fact that, these last few years have been a disaster, publicly comment on what the goals for the program actually are. We never hear that from him or from anyone. He needs to change his offense and his defense. And so that's why I think a lot of us are frustrated, because we know that's not going to happen. But his offense is just not effective these days, and his defense has not been effective for a number of years. His teams are soft. They don't play with toughness. They don't play with energy. I don't know how many times we've heard in the last 4 or 5 years, oh, yeah, we just came out slow. We couldn't get that energy going. And it's like, I guarantee you'll hear that again next year 10 or 15 times. But, nothing is going to change. And so, but those are the things he could do. Recruit tougher kids, recruit rebounding, put an emphasis on actually going after boards instead of shooting the shot and 5 guys running back scared on defense. It's a soft style of play, and unless you're making a lot of point shots, it doesn't work anymore.
Very well put. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you so much for calling in. And those were really good, just kind of insights from a fan. And I always appreciate it because it does impact the way I see it, because hearing it from a fan, hearing the exasperation from a fan does really matter. And that's what we're here to try and do on Fitz the Bill. We want to hear from you, the fans, want to hear why you have issues with some of the things that maybe your favorite teams are doing across the Commonwealth or even beyond. So really appreciate that call in. We're going to get a break in here. We'll step aside and we'll be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-793-8074 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-793-8074. That's 800-793-8074. What do you have to lose? Call 800-793-8074. Again, 800-793-8074.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Amber and Ian.
I haven't heard any conversation about this aspect of the consequences of NIL, where these big programs are having to spend money other places because of NIL that they then don't want to go spend a ton of money playing mid-major.
Makes sense.
Now everyone's operating with a bottom line. And why are we eating into that when you could come and beat us?
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
1061 ESPN weather.
We're seeing mostly cloudy skies with temperatures in the 30s and 40s throughout the morning, with highs this afternoon reaching 63 degrees. And taking a look at tonight, we're seeing mostly cloudy skies again with lows dropping down to 47.
Perspective still matters. That's the Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt. Weekdays 4 to 6. News.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Or snooze.
News or snooze this morning. Aiden Argabright announces he will return to Richmond next season.
Man, that lined up perfectly there after the conversations we just had. That is newsworthy.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Both big time because it keeps a Richmond kid in Richmond, right? He played his high school ball at John Marshall. And, oh, by the way, he was a baller last year. As a freshman, he averages just a shade under 11 points per game, the most of any A10 freshman. He also led all conference first-year players. Don't you love that? Don't you love that's how we have to talk about freshmen now because of the transfer portal and everything? Yeah. First-year Atlantic 10 players. He led them in assist-to-turnover ratio, steals per game, and ranked second with 2 assists per game. I mean, he showed out his freshman season. He was in the starting lineup, out of the starting lineup. He did whatever was asked of him. Big time retention for Chris Mooney heading into year 22. And I think those calls were spot on with what they want to see, what they want to hear about Richmond. This is a good first step forward to try and accomplish some of those. You're going to need a couple of more big moves. You're going to have to hit the transfer portal and add another 2 to 3 good players because you're losing a lot of good players. Mike Walls is gone. AJ Lopez is gone. Jonathan Beagle is gone. And then you need to see a big step forward from guys like Colin Tanner, Mikkel Tyne. You're also losing Will Johnston. Jalen Robinson, he came on at times last season, a 6'6" guy. You're going to need to see another step forward from him going into his sophomore year. A lot of questions around Richmond men's basketball heading into next season, but one question's been answered, getting Aiden Argabright to come back.
Yeah, the guard play is pivotal for Coach Mooney and his system. And the next step would be to find an equivalent big to complement the guard play.
Yeah,
that's what I would think.
Yes, exactly.
An NBA PA calls for minimum game rule change, citing Cunningham's case.
Newsworthy.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
So as it stands now,
quick,
yeah,
Cade Cunningham, because I didn't want people to be like, which Cunningham? Cade Cunningham.
What's the other Cunningham?
Randall Cunningham.
Oh,
it was a joke.
Gosh. I didn't even see. That's how young I am. When I hear Cunningham, I don't even think
he didn't play basketball, obviously. But yeah, QB1. But go ahead.
QB1. He was Vic before Vic, right?
Yeah. He was.
Cunningham. He finished his career in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Randall Cunningham. Yep, this is exactly has to do with him. But so there's the 65 game minimum rule for you to qualify for postseason awards. You have to play at least 65 games. And Cade Cunningham, who's now dealing with the collapsed lung, who is one of the favorites to win the MVP, who is one of the front runners to be first team all NBA, he's not going to qualify for any of those. So luckily for Cade Cunningham, he was already first team all NBA last year, which means he's Supermax eligible. But if he did not get that last year, he's not eligible for it this year. He could have missed out on a Supermax extension because of a collapsed lung, not because of load management, not because of any of that. And it's all because of the minimum game rule, which does need to change. I think they need to completely abolish it. I think they need to get rid of it. It is having adverse effects on trying to get players to play. Because of that rule, Luka may not be eligible for postseason awards. SGA might not be eligible. I think now they're kind of hitting it because we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. But like a month ago, there was talk that Wemby wouldn't hit it, SGA wouldn't hit it, Jokic wouldn't hit it, because all of them only had like 4 to 7 games to play with over the final like 15 games of the year. It's having adverse effects. It's kind of ruining some of these postseason ballots. You look at all third team NBA and you're like, who? Cason Wallace?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be as black and white as they're making it. I mean, we're talking 61 games to 65. Come on, man. Like, let's be honest. Give me some wiggle room and we can make it work.
I just don't think there should be any. Like, I do not think there should be any minimum game requirement. I think that is the biggest issue. Like, just if a player plays 40 games because of load management, trust me not to vote them to all first team NBA.
Your generation of basketball did this.
This ain't my generation.
As I actually point at you.
It's not my generation.
Yeah, you're the LeBron guys.
Yeah, LeBron didn't do this as much as Kawhi did.
Yeah,
Kawhi brought this to the forefront.
Generation.
All right.
He's with them. Hubert Davis fired as North Carolina's men coach.
Newsworthy. So we talked about it to start the show. It's going to be a major thread throughout today's show. UNC said in their statement yesterday that it was just a change of direction, right? Well, Hubert Davis then went on Instagram and announced it for himself that he was, quote, let go. So confirming that Hubert Davis was fired. This wasn't a mutual parting of ways. No, he was let go from the Tar Heels. He said, quote, this opportunity has truly been such a blessing. I thank Jesus literally every day for giving me the opportunity, relationships, and experiences with the kids and my staff. I am very proud of what we were able to accomplish together. My goal is to coach again in the very near future. Hubert Davis has nearly $5.3 million of guaranteed money left on his deal. The university said in its statement it would honor the terms of his contract, so a big-time payout is coming, and that is in addition to the buyouts that they will have to pay if they truly do want to swing big and get a Todd Golden, to get a Ben McCollum, to get a Nate Oates, to get a Dan Hurley, that's being floated around. About 30 minutes ago, it was reported, though, Brad Stevens has pulled his name out of consideration for the UNC job. Not a shock, right? We all expected that for the most part. UNC was going to make the call. Brad Stevens is saying, thanks, but no thanks.
See, he's saying, look at my surroundings. My feet are propped up.
You see Jason Tatum just came back, guys? I'm good. Although Jason Tatum's 3-point shooter. Did you see his 3-point shot yesterday on Twitter? It was circulating.
No, what?
It's busted.
It's busted?
He's shooting 29.3% this season, albeit a small sample size, but his shot looks a little busted. That's the biggest thing Brad Stevens has to deal with right now. If he was the head coach of UNC, he'd be having to deal with the transfer portal, hiring a new staff, how to allocate the funds of the NIL. It sounds much better to be an executive with the Boston Celtics right now than it does to be the head coach of UNC men's basketball. All right, hour number 2 coming up. We've got to talk some MLB and more. Stay with us.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow. Sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Ahoy, matey! Is that a new phone? Aye, Captain, that's my new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE. You must have paid a pretty doubloon for that. Nay, 'twas zero down from Cricket Wireless. So, you plundered it. Nay, again, 'tis a monthly payment plan with bread pay. You're shivering me timbers. I shiver you not. Me first payment is next month. Aye, that's not a plunder. That's a steal.
Get a new Samsung Galaxy S25 FE for $0 down when you pay overtime with bread pay. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Subject to approval of credit application. Bread pay loans are made by Comenity Capital Bank and Bread Financial Company.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.
The second hour of Fitz the Bill is brought to you by Birdie Golf. Tired of paying premium prices for big-name golf balls that overpromise and underdeliver? Step up your game with Birdie Golf. Learn more about a local company at birdiegolf.com. Change out the I's for ones, and you're there. That's B1RD1E golf.com. Birdie Golf.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill right here on this Wednesday morning, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Appreciate you clocking in. getting your day started with us. Also on ESPNRichmond.com and the ESPN Richmond app. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can be part of the stream by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And, of course, you can call or text into the Radke Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. We had some fantastic texts and call-ins in hour number one. Let's keep that momentum rolling into hour number two because there is so much to dive into. MLB gets going for tonight. Aiden Argabright is back for Richmond. There is March Madness still happening. And, oh, by the way, Kelvin Sampson said something completely out of pocket, at least in my humble opinion. I think Alan kind of agrees with Sampson. We'll go at it later on in hour number two about those comments from the Houston head coach. Before we do any of that, though, we do want to bring in Robert Salick of Birdie Golf. He's the founder of Birdie Golf. We've got the Birdie Classic coming up in just a couple of weeks. April 11th, you can still sign up for that. Rob, how you doing on this Wednesday morning? Appreciate you taking some time.
I'm good. How are you gentlemen doing?
Hey, we're doing fantastic. How are preparations coming for the Birdie Classic? April 11th, man. That date is coming in quick.
Everything is coming along great. First, I'd like to say welcome back, Alan. I hope you had a good run down there for the March Madness. I'm glad to have you back. But everything is going good. We're getting registrations every day. We're filling up. So, go register for the Classic for April 11th.
How can people register for the Birdie Classic?
Okay, you can do it one of two ways. We have a flyer. It's posted on all socials. It's also posted on Facebook as well in all golf groups. You can also contact Stonehouse Golf Club, speak with Adam. You can register that way. The flyer does also have a QR code that you can scan. You can make payment that way, and then you'll receive a receipt as well.
I love it. How are things coming with Stonehouse? How are things going out there? Have you perfected, what is it, your drive game? I forgot what exactly you guys were talking about. What part of your game needed the most work?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's my iron play. I'm very good with the driver, putting, chipping, irons. I'm just a little. I try to put too much power into my swing. But we're dialing it in. I've gotten a lot better with the irons. I'm hitting them pure now, so I'll be good. My team is rock solid.
I love it. Walk us through again the why you wanted to start something like the Birdie Classic, why you wanted to get something like this going, and what it means to you to have this event happening for the second time now.
So for me, it's actually the first time. This is the first annual Birdie Classic. So for me, it's about bringing golfers together, right? You have content creators that are constantly playing golf on social media platforms. I've built great relationships because of my brand, Birdie Golf. I've built great relationships throughout, the United States, all the way from California. I've even got relationships in Canada. And bringing those content creators to Virginia to showcase what Virginia has to offer, but also allow the general public to play with these creators by just initially paying their fee to play. For me, that's what it's all about. It's about bringing people together. It's not a marketing campaign. It's not you have to pay $500,000 to play with these content creators. It's generally giving it back to the community.
I love it. And when they tee up for that first hole, when it's April 11th at the Birdie Classic, what can people expect out of this event at the Stonehouse Golf Club?
I mean, the first thing that I tell everybody is you can expect just positive, great vibes. The energy is going to be electric. You're going to have so many different type of energies in this classic. You're going to have your more laid-back traditional, but then you're going to have your talkers. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the talker. I don't know if you see social medias, but I talk, and I talk that talk. And it's just about having fun, right? And again, bringing people together. We have great sponsors. We have great prizes. Stonehouse has done so much work to the course. The course is unbelievable. It is in pristine shape. They've added so many great things, and Adam over at Stonehouse and his team, I know he had mentioned they were kind of down and out for a little bit, but they have completely revamped that course, and it's beautiful. It's just something that you want to lay your eyes on, and definitely somewhere that you want your clubs to play.
I love it. And you guys are giving back with this event as well. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So, yes, we have a long drive champion that is going to be there. They are part of a charity event. And working with them, having them there, and also myself, I am making a donation from the proceeds. Here locally, we will be donating to a local autism community, a foundation. And it really means a lot to me because my son is borderline autistic. So for me, it hits home for me, and it's just something that I want to do. And who doesn't love giving back to the community, whether it's children with autism or adults, teenagers. It's just about giving back, and I think that's what Virginia is about. Virginia is for lovers. I believe that's what the signs say, and the love for us to host events or give back to the community. I think it fits very well, and I hope that you guys come out and support and play with some great golfers.
I mean, Rob, I'm excited for one to get out there and show everyone that I've got a 300-yard drive, but the only problem with it is it goes straight right off the tee. I just got to figure out how to straighten. I've got between now and April 11th to figure that out. I can show off my great wedge play, though. If you get me near the green, I'm going to be getting it on. I'm going to be pin hunting with it as well. But it should be an absolute blast. You've also got some birdie golf. That's what we've been talking about so much as well. You've got your own set of golf balls. Will I be able to play with some birdie golf balls at this event?
Yes, we will have balls for sale. They will be somewhere. We haven't figured out where it's going to be on the course yet. I think we're going to have everything set up right at the clubhouse. You will be able to purchase full sets, or you can purchase sleeves of the birdie ball. You're more than welcome to play those. We suggest everybody to play them. They are high quality tour performance balls, 3-layer urethane balls. Everybody that has touched the ball loves it. They're like, why are people not playing this ball at a fraction of the cost? And for me, I'm not about marketing. I'm not a salesman, right? If you touch the ball, you play the ball, then you'll obviously see what the ball is about. We've got more in production right now. We've got different players that are in production right now, different covers, stuff like that. So we will be putting those out soon. But yeah, Birdie Golf is not just a brand. It's not just a logo, but we're trying to put out golf balls for, the everyday average golfer that wants to play a tour ball, but not pay $70 a ball. And that's one thing that we stand firm on, and we'll keep pushing the ball, and hopefully you guys test them out and play them.
I love it. I can't wait. Rob, appreciate your time on this Wednesday morning. I'm counting down the days until April 11th with the Birdie Classic out there at the Stonehouse Golf Club. Appreciate you taking some time. We'll catch up again soon before the event.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Of course, there goes Robert Salick of the of Birdie Golf and the Birdie Classic. You can find out more at Stonehouse Golf Club on their Instagram and so much more. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic event. April 11th, a little shotgun start, 4-person scramble. They've got prizes, contests, everything you can imagine. A great event out there at Stonehouse Golf Club. So April 11th, mark your calendars, register now. It should be an absolute blast of an event. I'll be out there having some fun as well. All right, let's get a quick break in. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill in hour number 2 right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, visit FVGradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-417-6411. 800-417-6411. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-417-6411 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Vacation starts with VA. One thing you'll love about your trip to Virginia is that you'll never have to settle for one thing. All that you love is all in one trip. Start yours at virginia.org.
Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer joins Bob Black for the Henrico Huddle, ESPN Richmond's newest monthly feature.
This is advertising material. Hi, this is John from your insurance company. We received your claim and we're denying your coverage. They think you'll give up. They're wrong. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys have made insurance companies pay over $2 billion. It's your turn. They fight while you heal. Over 250,000 clients. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys. Call now for a free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN, presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN, streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Stuck off the field? 106.1 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 106.1 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning, midweek edition. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick out alongside as we get set for the 2026 MLB season here tonight. First pitch, Yankees, Giants on Netflix. We got Max Fried going up against Logan Webb. Webb making his 5th straight opening day start for San Francisco. Max Fried making his first opening day start for the New York Yankees after being the ace last season, after the Yankees suffered through a couple of big-time injuries to some of their big-time arms. But he struggled in spring. The Yankees are hoping that is more of a off-the-radar type of thing, and he can get back to his 2025 form. It should be a fun game tonight on Netflix. Who would have thought Netflix would be streaming some MLB here in the year of our Lord 2026? Should be fun.
In the future.
Truly. They can't wait for Netflix to have a week 4 NFL game in a couple of years, because that's where things are going. All right, let's go on out to the phone lines here. We've got Bruce on line 1. Good morning, Bruce. How are we doing? How was your radio time yesterday down in Petersburg?
Oh, man, we enjoyed. Fitz, good morning, Alan. Good morning, Fitz. I'm appreciative of you kicking that out, man. But, yeah, BSU is on fire this week, man, based on your interview on Monday with Dr. Bellamy, and it was on fire yesterday. We kicked it off. But, look, man, I'm so hyped this year for my Cincinnati Reds. So I don't want to say I'm going to hold some of that in because you guys recall last year in the NLCS, the Milwaukee Brewers had a chance to beat the Dodgers. And I just see that for Cincinnati this year with the young pitching that we have. De La Cruz is going to have a breakout year. So we're man,
Bruce.
Go ahead.
Bruce, you said Milwaukee had a chance to beat the Dodgers?
Last year?
Brother, Shohei Ohtani by himself beat him. He pitched a shutout and hit like 3-4 home runs. They never stood a chance. I think they were just playing with them, honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, you're going to see different for Cincinnati. But look, Alan, Fitz, please take your pencil out because I'm giving y'all some numbers. And I'm starting with 03-04. LeBron, while in Cleveland, 79 games. 04-05, 80 games. 05-06, 79 games. 06-07, 78 games. 07-08, 75. 08-09, 81 games. I say all of this because I can go on and on. The only time you did not see LeBron give his all, 62 games in 11-12, even with the lockout. Just past Robert Parrish for most games played. When we have put this stereotype on LeBron that he is the face of load management, I don't know where it comes from, Alan. I really don't, man.
I agree with you, Bruce.
This guy gives us his all every year, Alan. Look at his history. There is only 1 year, 14-15, where he played 69 games, and that was due to injury.
So hold on. I'm on record saying of all the people that has an excuse for load management, I give it to LeBron. I just use LeBron because that's the name for the.
But he doesn't load manage.
But even if he does, he deserves a break.
He doesn't, though.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, even if he doesn't load manage, he deserves a break. So
it's Kawhi. Kawhi is the load manager who brought this into the forefront.
It's the era. He's just a part of the era. So maybe I might have misportrayed it, or maybe said it wrong. But I don't blame LeBron for Kawhi and Embiid and all these other people sitting out. I know LeBron logged pretty much every minute he could possibly play for almost 17 years. And I think at some point age caught up to him, and just the overall attrition of like the amount of minutes he played. But I remember 2016, bro didn't even get a break in that playoffs. Like, he was on the floor every single minute. And so I'm not knocking that. I don't knock him for not playing in Charlotte. No offense to you, Jack, but I totally understand that. So it's not just him, and it's not actually him, but it's the era, right? Like, we have plenty of guys, again, like Embiid and all the rest of these guys, even Zion Williamson, like, maybe there's some injury prone stuff. Some of it's just lazy. Guys just sit out now.
Yeah, man. I think I get your error relation or correlation. I just think that, the media says, they say so much adverse against LeBron, and I don't see where it is warranted. Now, I will say I'm a Julius Erving fan. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Timmy Duncan fan. I'm a Moses Malone fan. But I just, and I'm an NBA fan, obviously. But I just think it's unwarranted with pundits who talk about LeBron, and I just think people should miss. If you have an opportunity, I've said this before, if you have an opportunity to see LeBron play in live games, it is worth. He gives you worth the price of the ticket. He really does, guys.
And I think the reason LeBron just kind of becomes this hated figure is because he's been so great for so long that I think it's just kind of flipped on him, and now it's cool to hate on him, and they've kind of gone that way when it comes to LeBron, rather than just it's something I realized with Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago. It's something I do. One, I'm a big LeBron fan. I think LeBron's better than MJ and whatever it might be. So take that with a grain of salt. But like with Mahomes, it became popular to kind of, make fun of him, or it became popular to trash on his accomplishments. Whereas we are watching one of the greatest football players in the history of the league. Rather than trashing his accomplishments, I'm going to enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes. Allen might have a different thought on that because Patrick Mahomes has been the boogeyman in the Super Bowl. For me, he hasn't been that. So I can sit back and I can enjoy Patrick Mahomes. The same goes for LeBron. Sure, you can argue all day until you're blue in the face. Is he better than MJ? Where does he rank all time? Blah, 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 blah. One thing we can all agree on is LeBron is one of the greatest players of all time, and we are watching history being made each time he steps out on the floor. Over his 23-year career, he's always been one of the best players in the NBA, and now it's just become kind of what's in vogue to make fun of him, or what's in vogue to trash what he's doing, when I've just taken the approach, I'm going to enjoy watching LeBron because we don't know how much longer we have of LeBron James.
And I'm just picking with Allen. I know Allen is a LeBron fan. I know he is,
Yeah,
man.
he sometimes has to take up the MJ case or the anti-LeBron case.
I can respect LeBron, but not also have him as my GOAT. That's fine.
No doubt. Hey, man, let's look forward to a great MLB season this year, and let's go Reds. That's all I got.
I love it, Bruce. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Got some bad news for Bruce and the Reds, though. I know it always catch Bruce when he's getting off the phone. I apologize.
Hey. Look, the Reds are 55-1 to win the World Series.
World Series. Let's start at our division. Let's give me a number for games
to win the division. The Cincinnati Reds are plus 550.
Look, I looked at the roster because the Reds are a hot betting team for me during the summer. One thing about the Midwest, little gambling tip for folks out there: you get these Midwest games, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Chicago on a Friday afternoon, and the breeze is blowing and it's about 80 degrees. You get a lot of runs no matter who's pitching. So Kansas City Royals in that mix too. So I always get to them about the summer. So I know a couple other guys. The one thing that stood out to me for them last year was their pitching has been their thing. Ellie Dela Cruz is like their key player, but I was looking for Hunter Green and he has an elbow injury, which is not good because he's their ace. He's like their guys. And if he's going to miss a significant amount of time, I don't see them competing.
60-day IL he was placed on 2 days ago.
God, that's tough, man. That's tough. I mean, Spencer Strider for our Braves has an oblique strain, so he's starting out on the IL too. But I mean, I can at least name three other guys on the Braves.
Two starters right now are out for the Reds heading into the season. Nick Lodolo, one of their starters, and Hunter Green. Hunter Green's on the 60-day IL. Lodolo's just out, and he's not going to begin the regular season in the rotation. But that's a big blow for Cincinnati, a team that I think does have some hype going around them with Key Brian Hayes at third, Ellie De La Cruz at short. They signed Eugenio Suarez, who's coming off of that fantastic World Baseball Classic as the DH.
Yeah, he was balling.
You've got some hype around Cincinnati, but they've got a tough gauntlet ahead of them. You look at some of the favorites right now to win the World Series. Dodgers, of course, at plus 230. Then it's the Yankees at 10-1, the Mariners at 12-1, the Mets at 13-1, and the Blue Jays at 15-1. Our Atlanta Braves, their season gets going Friday right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. They're 18-1, ninth best odds to win the World Series. I think the betting markets learned a little bit from last season where they were one of the top three favorites to win the World Series, and they had a complete disaster class of a year. They should bounce back.
Yeah, just find whatever team I like and assume they'll all be injured and just stay away from them.
Is there a substation around Atlanta too, or is that just a San Francisco thing?
I've been to the Battery a couple of times. There's no substation.
No substation?
No,
no substation?
No
all right.
substation.
Yeah, Spencer Strider, he's out, but that's the only real injury that they are suffering through right now. Spencer Schwellenbach, he was placed on the 60-day IL right around when spring training began, maybe a little bit before spring training. So something to monitor there. But for the most part, the Braves are entering the season right now, Alan, fairly healthy. Good for them. good for them. And now they've just got to make sure that their roster, their 1 through 9, can actually hit the baseball. But they're the ninth favorites to win the World Series, 18-1. My Mariners, 12-1. Maybe they can make it a nice little season in Seattle, winning the World Series, the Super Bowl, and bringing back the Sonics. The Pacific Northwest feeling good right now. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Online, too, we got Dan from Midlothian. Dan, good morning. How are we doing?
Morning, gentlemen. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's got that line. So I can't
I don't know what you mean. I think that's all you. I think you just made that one up.
No, that's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Come on. You're not old enough. That's why. You're not old enough. You're gonna have to Google that. Well, that being said, I'm, you've been talking about the opening major league season. I was a baseball guy, played all the way through college, and I still follow it. And I'm wondering about your opinions on the Guardians. Well, first of all, I'm still haven't gotten over that name. Who was drunk and lost a bet that changed their name to what sounds like a security company instead of a Major League Baseball team? I don't know. But that being said, what do you think about the Guardians this year?
The Guardians should be all right. I think that's they should be a pretty solid team. I don't know how much noise they're going to make in the postseason, but maybe around the red. Cleveland feels like a team every year where you count them out, and then you look up at the standings, and there they are near the top of it all. But they should have some fun in the AL Central.
Yeah, the AL Central kind of reminds me of like the NFC East, where like anything can happen typically when we see these teams. Like the only thing we can guarantee is that the White Sox will be bad. But like the Royals, Twins always start kind of hot. They're in play. But the Tigers, I think, are the team to beat in the AL Central.
Yeah, but outside of that, if you can beat up your games on the White Sox and Kansas City, maybe it's a little down, like you could find yourself right there in the thick of it in the AL Central.
Yeah, it could be. For so many years, they've traded away some of the best pitchers in baseball. And that kills me that they've been doing that for so long. So, yeah, way back in the 90s, they used to just out-hit everybody. All their pitchers at ERAs of 5 or more, they scored more than everybody else. But, it ain't like that anymore. But it'll be fun.
I think the new Nationals manager, if I'm not mistaken, was the old bench coach for the Guardians. If I'm not mistaken, he was either the Twins or the Guardians. I've got to confirm that. But if it was the Guardians, that's going to be something they're going to have to overcome.
Yeah, well, they will. But it'll be fun. I still love watching the game anyway. So I always look for the little things that go on during a game that nobody pays attention to. So, even if the game can get boring, it still makes it interesting if you know what you're looking for. So anyway, guys, look, have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
I appreciate you calling in, Dan. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. And we'll get a quick break in here. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Tune in to the Enjoy the Madness basketball show Wednesdays at 6 p.m. here on 106.1 ESPN, presented by RVA's premier low-speed vehicle Bentelli dealer, Richmond LSV.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189.
Hey golfers, spring is just around the corner and that means it's time to head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course.
Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite golf course.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at the spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of my balanced strategy. Gives me peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax shelter retirement account is right for you too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
This is advertising material. Medical mistakes can devastate families. When doctors fail to provide the care you deserve, Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys stand ready to fight for justice. They recovered over $2 billion for their clients injured by negligence, surgical errors, and misdiagnoses. They take on powerful hospitals and their insurance companies, so you don't have to, but time is limited. Call now for a free consultation. No fees unless they win your case. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys, 877-222-6666 or AlexWins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510.
Tune in to the Enjoy the Madness basketball show Wednesdays at 6 p.m. here on 106.1 ESPN, presented by RVA's premier low-speed vehicle Bentelli dealer, Richmond LSV.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint, we'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Every headline sounds different when you explain what it actually means. That's the Sports Huddle with Matt and Bob, weekdays 4 to 6 on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Welcome back in, Fitz the Bill. I made a slight mistake while talking from Dan from Midlothian. I said the Nationals' new manager. I meant the Baltimore Orioles' new manager. Those two teams too close in that I-95 corridor. I get them mixed up sometimes.
Craig can't tell the difference on the field sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Craig Albernaz is the new manager of the Baltimore Orioles. He was a well-regarded bench coach for the Cleveland Guardians, associate manager as well. So that was, at the time of his hiring, thought of as a very big loss for Cleveland. So now it's going to be a question of how does Cleveland kind of replace that type of aura, I guess you could say, in the dugout, in the locker room, everything like that. So Craig Albernaz, new coach of the Orioles, was the well-regarded bench coach for the Guardians. Mix that one up. That's my bad.
Yeah, and I won't fault you for that. Although I think in baseball, we sometimes don't appreciate a good manager or a good base coach until like you get in a situation where they didn't send somebody or they pull somebody too early.
Baseball's such a funny sport. One, because the managers, the coaches are called managers. They wear the jerseys of the team, which is just weird. But then additionally, I mean, the way we talk about offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators in the NFL and in college football and stuff, how much weight they carry in a game. Bench coaches, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, base coaches, they're all very similar in that way. And yet we never talk about them in the same way we do an OC or a DC in the NFL.
So just to give you another example of how crazy baseball betting and baseball in general are, the Guardians, it's funny that Dan from Midlothian mentioned them. The Guardians were at one point were like the worst home run hitting team at home for a significant amount of time at Progressive Field. Legend has it they removed shipping containers that were outside the stadium, and they made some adjustments with like their end wall, and they went to 10th in home runs. Like they made cosmetic changes, and
it changed how probably the wind was blowing through the stadium.
Exactly, and it was all allotted to the right field area, and they became a powerhouse team. In fact, you can almost correlate some of their playoff runs or playoff potential to that uptick in the home runs. And when they were asked about it over the year, I think it was like 2024 is when it like took off. Like the players were like, no, we've just been getting better.
We can see the ball better now.
But in actuality, it was apparently cosmetic changes.
I'm all for that. Like when people make fun of the Yankees for having a short porch in right field and they're like, they had so many home runs there. You know what? That's smart baseball. That's smart general managing. You should know what your field is like and create a roster that hits it well in your home park.
I hate the short porch because it's the short porch and it's the Yankees. But yeah, I mean, if you got a way to make it advantageous for you, then that's fine. But it also works for the other team too.
Exactly. Like just as you just know that you're going to be playing half of your games in there. So I might have more big time bats that can push it into right field than the opponent. But like, if I'm a GM, if I'm a grounds crew, like the head of grounds for a team or something, you know what I'm doing each and every day? I'm standing at home plate every hour on the hour during spring training while they're all down in Arizona or Florida. I'm figuring out where the wind is coming at each time of the day, and I'm figuring out ways where we can get a jet stream to right or a jet stream to left. That's what home field advantage is for.
Texas used to have a crazy jet stream at their old stadium. like seriously,
that's what I'm doing.
It was intense. Like the ball would get hit and just carry like 100 feet some days. And you would look at the outfielder because that's when you can tell, he's under the ball. And then he just looks back like, what just happened?
Like, that stinks. The wind caught that one. I mean, heck, maybe I just install a lot of fans behind home plate and they just magically turn on every time the ball gets hit up in the air. I'm doing whatever I can to win baseball games.
There is some science behind it, though, if you are looking to get into the realm of betting baseball.
Yeah, there's a lot of science.
Definitely want to pay attention. In fact, I would
go to Colorado, hit home runs.
Befriending a weatherman, because they will definitely help you.
Yeah.
I think it's Kevin Roth is who I follow.
Befriending a weatherman, and that's how you do it.
I'm telling you, man, it's easier to predict some of the things than other sports, right? Because the variables sometimes are not about the players; it's just about the conditions.
It's also why baseball lends itself so well to analytics, because it is it's a sport that just lends itself to that very easily, because there are these variables, but you can account for a lot of it, and there's such a large sample size in the course of 1 year. The amount of ABs that you're getting, like, it takes out any noise.
So from a programming standpoint, for the folks who are probably like, okay, that's enough baseball, just FYI, they're not going to be doing a lot of baseball on TV this year. So if you want to if you want to hear Sunday night baseball,
Ben Ingram does it so well that sometimes you are seeing what the Braves are doing out there.
If you want to hear baseball, we will have pretty much every Sunday night baseball game that we're offered and can air. So that would be weekly, except for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks throughout the season. And then, of course, every Atlanta Braves baseball game will be heard here on 106.1 ESPN. Cool thing about the MLB baseball that we do, you can also stream that. You can't stream the Atlanta Braves, but if it's an ESPN game, like a Sunday night or Saturday night baseball game, you can use our app to stream that.
ESPN Richmond app and ESPNRichmond.com. If you don't have the ESPN Richmond app, little subtle plug, it's available in the iOS App Store. It's available on the Android Play Store. Head on over there, type in ESPN Richmond, and if you're not tired about typing in ESPN Richmond by now, you just haven't been doing it enough, head over there, type it in, and then while you're doing it, go ahead and subscribe to all of that by typing in ESPN Richmond on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's how you plug. That is how you plug. UNC's trying to plug some holes at their head coaching position over there in Chapel Hill. Brad Stevens has pulled his name out of the running.
Before we even finish the show.
Yeah, before we even finish the show. That 8 a.m., we're talking about who can potentially replace him. Reports are saying they're going to take a big swing. Brad Stevens is one of them. And within 45 minutes, we get a report from CBS that Brad Stevens has pulled his name.
It proves that Brad Stevens listens to our show.
I mean, honestly, look, we've done a lot of good things here on this show.
There.
Look, we've called for Sean McDermott to get fired. Bye-bye. Mike Tomlin. Bye-bye. Brad Stevens, don't take the job. He doesn't. I'm just saying.
We're really bad news for NFL teams.
There's a through line. If you want your team to fire its NFL head coach, text in, and we might try to pull some strings over here on Fitz the Bill.
We still have our Tampa Bay texter that wants us to get.
Yeah, we're trying Todd Bowles. We're trying. We're trying. Look, never wrong, just early. When he gets fired, and then when he gets fired next year, just wait. Where was I going? Is UNC? This is where I was going with this. Remember when Penn State fired James Franklin?
Oh, don't you ask this
and
question.
Everyone's like, Penn State will fill this job so easily. And then you know what happened? Indiana gave Kurt Signetti a fat old pay raise. Every school that had a coach that was linked to it, even briefly, had a fat old pay raise. Kalen DeBoer down in Alabama gets secured with them. Is UNC the Penn State of college basketball?
I was gonna say, let me put my face on here because this is ridiculous. No, they're not. UNC in basketball and Penn State in football operate in two different
How so? How so? Convince me that I'm crazy on this. Yes.
The legacy of UNC basketball is still intact. Like people see it and still think Michael Jordan and top draft picks, Vince Carter and all that stuff, despite the failures of Hubert Davis,
even Roy Williams. He hasn't. UNC hasn't won a championship since 2009.
Yeah, but it's not always about the championship.
Sorry, 2017 they won a championship.
It's not always about the championship. The pedigree and the brand that is Tar Heel basketball, Carolina Blue, still remains intact.
But couldn't you argue that exact same thing? Happy Valley, the Whiteout, the Nittany Lions for college football?
No, because they've never been the UNC of football. Like they've
been the Penn State of football.
Yeah, they've been the Penn State, but Ohio State and all these other programs have been the moniker. They've been the blue blood. I don't think I would consider Penn State a blue blood.
I think you're in the minority by thinking that Penn State's not a blue blood.
Yeah, I think they think they're blue blood because of their legacy, but I don't think in the modern era of college football, have they been a blue blood? In the modern era of college basketball, I think
UNC's not been a blue blood in the modern era of college basketball. We're talking modern era. Let's say since 2020 to now. 2020 to now. The NIL
that is such a small gap.
It's the current era that we're in. The NIL era, transfer portal. You don't have to sit out anymore. This is what they have done since 2020. That 2020 season, they were 14-19, 6-14 in ACC play. They weren't going to make the tournament. Then in 2021, Roy Williams' final year, 18-11, first round exit. Hubert Davis takes over the following year, gets him to the national championship game behind Armando Bacot, a fantastic performance. They're the runner-up. 23 missed the tournament after being preseason number one, first team to ever do that. They were Ken Pom top 10 team. They finished outside the Ken Pom top 40 in 2023. 2024 Sweet 16, good for you. 2025 fraudulent entry into the NCAA tournament. You win your first 4 game, you get bounced in the first round. 2026, you get bounced in the first round. They're not a blue blood of the current era of college basketball either.
I guess.
I see what you're saying, but this is going to be a fascinating coaching search because it is going to tell you exactly where they rank in the pecking order of the modern era of college basketball. Now, look, industry sources are saying that it's still an elite brand. It's still Carolina. They've got money. They're going to have to show it, but they've got money. They can get whatever coach they want, except for Brad Stevens, of course. They probably are going to strike out on Billy Donovan. I think they're going to go after Todd Golden, and I think they're going to miss out on Todd Golden because I believe that Florida is a better situation right now than North Carolina is. This is going to tell us a lot about the state of North Carolina basketball.
No, it definitely will.
That's what I'm fascinated to see because I'm seeing a lot of similarities, albeit early on in the process, but there are some similarities to what Penn State did in college football. And I know Lake's probably not happy with me saying this.
No, he's definitely not happy with me saying they're not a blue blood.
I'm going to let him know that you said that. Tomorrow on the Lake Lewis Jr. show, I'm going to comment that on the stream.
Text him. He was very hype about his Penn State guys, too.
Of course. Of course. Hey, the Penn State, we are whatever they say.
We are.
They are they're loyal to their guys. They're loyal to their guys, even though it might be a little crazy. But like, I'm just saying, there are some early indications that UNC may have slightly overplayed its hand. I think firing, letting go, mutual parting ways, whatever UNC is trying to paint it as, I think it was the right move to move on from Hubert Davis. But they've just got to make sure that they've got the NIL funding and the donor backing to go out and get a high-end coach.
Yeah, I think that they should still have the cachet to to get things done. Like I still think the brand and the allure of University of North Carolina Tar Heels is still intact, despite their little spat. It's still intact. I mean, you can look at Florida as an example too. Like after Billy Donovan, they didn't have great years per se, but Golden got them back and got them branded within a year or two of his tenure, right? And it didn't necessarily take the national championship. It helped, but it didn't take that. Like we put them back on a pedestal because of the run that they had. The same can happen for Kentucky if Pope gets the ship right. You need signature wins.
And in today's day and age, college football, college basketball, whatever it is, right? Like if you have the NIL backing in one season, you could go from literally worst to first. You could go from the butt of every joke to the absolute greatest team in the nation. You need NIL backing. And UNC likely has that. And you saw it with Todd Golden. He inherited a team that went 9-9 in SEC play. And within 2 years, he's winning 3 years, he's winning a national championship.
Yeah, so I think it's still an attractive job. I think it's still one of the most attractive jobs, and I think they can get, if we put a percentage on it, they could get probably 92% of coaches if they want it. There's obviously going to be guys who are not going to leave. You could throw the Izzos and those guys in there, the ones like Patino, who's probably at this point in his career too old to want to do that move and do essentially a quick rebuild.
Yeah.
But like Golden's name is an option, and Florida as a brand can keep him, right? Like that would make logical sense to try. It would also make logical sense for him to stay, just like Hurley. Like that name can be on your list. You can try, but UConn in their own right is an elite basketball program with pedigree.
Yeah.
They can keep him. UCLA, Cronin, probably not. I'm not going to lie. they can take him if they want it.
I don't know who wants Cronin.
I don't know who wants him.
Begging for money every single step he takes. He's just always asking for it. Keeping in the college basketball world, Butler, Thad Matta retired at the end of the season. So Butler was looking for a new coach. They went with Atlanta Hawks assistant Ronald Norrid. Another team going after an NBA guy.
All right. I know I've been looking perplexed over here because Bruce put out a message. He said, what about the University of Richmond coach? What happened? And then I was confused, but he clarified. We caused coaching moves. Why did we cause the University of Richmond coach to be fired? Because we're not asking for Coach Mooney to be fired, Bruce. We're not. And we're
just asking for an explanation on why he's sticking around and what the plan is moving forward to make sure that Richmond is the top of the A-10.
Yeah, we agree changes need to be made. We would prefer those changes be made by Coach Mooney himself.
Big time that they're able to keep Aiden Argabright sticking around.
And again, that's the start right there. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? You got Aiden back. That ain't going to make it easier as far as the expectations coming in the next season.
I think we were talking about how for Richmond, you can't FOIA anything. They're a private institution.
You can only speculate.
I'm very intrigued behind the scenes what the buyout looks like for a Mooney contract. I think he's got 3 or 4 more years left on his contract. Don't quote me on that one. But I think the buyout would probably be a little bit big. And that might be another reason why he's coming back for a 22nd year. Although all of this could be put to bed if we could just hear a statement from the athletic director.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too when you guys were talking about that. College athletics is different than the pros, right? In the pros, I would easily say he doesn't need to give you an explanation, but people are so invested in time, money, and just passion. And like you think about most of these people are alumni. They are literally the university.
At the NFL level or at the professional level, right? You can say, oh, I pay for your salary. When in reality, you don't. Like your ticket, sure, it might cover operating expenses.
Most TV deals.
It's the TV deals. It's the media rights. Your jersey might pay for the operating costs. You might be able to pay for a 12th of the electricity bill because you bought season tickets, whatever it might be. But in college, there's a really good reason for you to want to know everything that's happening because you paid for tuition. Most fans of Richmond or whatever mid-major school that you're attending, a lot of that budget is made up because of the tuition that's being paid and the student fees, right? And then the season tickets do go a long way. Buying the tickets going a long way. Donating directly to the program goes a long way. And I think there is a duty by the administration to explain themselves to the fan who is footing the bill on quite a lot of it.
Footing the bill.
I didn't even get that one.
Yeah,
I didn't even mean to,
yeah,
but
close.
that's a good one.
But yeah, we're not asking for Coach Mooney to be fired. I know people want us to. We're not there yet. Here, I don't think anybody on the station is there yet. But
he needs to prove a lot,
Yes.
though. Like, he has struggled against Q1, Q2. I would love to hear what his plan is for moving forward. I'm trying to catch up with Coach Mooney to kind of chat about what the offseason direction is, what he looks to accomplish in year 22, what he wants to see out of his program going into his 22nd year, what he needs to prove to himself going into year 22 after a couple of down years, like trying to do all that.
Did you catch any of the Atlantic 10 commissioners presser?
Some sound bites from it.
Yeah. Bob and Matt played one yesterday. I thought was pretty interesting about the Q1, Q2 thing. This idea
Putting
that
more focus on Q2.
Yeah, that Q1 isn't the end all be all. And I did love the idea that he's looking to have a permanent venue.
Yeah.
I would love to see us in New York.
New York, DC, Richmond. Richmond would never happen.
Richmond's got to get the facility.
Yeah,
first.
whatever. Yeah, just rebuild the Coliseum. We won't open up that can of worms again. But like the A10 could really just start beefing up its Q2 opportunities because you've got teams right around the fringe, like Fordham, not really Fordham, but like Rhode Island, you get a little bit better. Richmond, you get a little bit better. St. Bonaventure returns to where they were. Loyola, Chicago. You get those teams back around the fringes of the top 75. You're all of a sudden flirting with Q1s and Q2s a lot more than what you are. You need the middle part of the A10 to get not a lot better, incrementally better.
Yeah.
And then that way you're going to beef up your Q1, Q2. But I really enjoyed the press conference yesterday from the new A10 commissioner. Excited to see where the A10 goes because right now it's riding a wave of momentum. They got 2 teams in to the NCAA tournament. They got 2 wins. That is huge for just overall vibes of the conference. That's overall just visibility of the conference. So good for them and excited to see where the A10 goes.
My question for going in that direction is with that kind of philosophical change for the conference, would that also maybe potentially change the perspective of the fan bases who look at these coaches like Coach Mooney, who doesn't have a great record against quad 1 teams? Like if the A10 stars put more emphasis on getting quad 2 opponents.
He doesn't have a good record.
Yeah, I know he doesn't have a good record against them, but I'm saying if we take out quad 1 responsibilities and pressure, would that change the perspective of other coaches?
No.
All right.
I still think Q1 is very important. Like VCU would not have gotten into the tournament this time around because of their lack of Q1 wins. So like I get what the commissioner's saying, and it's a good point, but also in the same breath, you still want to be winning those Q1s and getting the Q1 opportunities and winning them when you do get them, because that's what kind of pushes you over the edge, especially when you're being compared to a Texas and NC State, these middle of the road ACC schools that are trying to just barely eke their way in. When it comes down to the resume, they have more Q1 games. So you got to take advantage of those. All right, let's get our last break in. We'll step aside, be back to wrap up this Wednesday edition of Fitz the Bill.
Get the latest update on Henrico County sports tournaments, happenings, and future events on ESPN Richmond's newest segment, the Henrico Huddle. Join Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer as he joins Bob Black on the Sports Huddle. For more information on Henrico Sports and Event Center calendar, visit online at henricosea.com or tune in to the last Wednesday of each month for the Henrico Huddle on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-793-8074 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-793-8074. That's 800-793-8074. What do you have to lose? Call 800-793-8074. Again, 800-793-8074.
If you want more than just the score, you'll find it here.
The Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt, weekdays 4 to 6.
Another free one. Thanks, dog. You always hook me up.
Another hour of the fun stuff on deck.
Another one of your nonsensical rambling stories.
And another round for everyone on me.
I don't want to hear another peep.
Okay, all right, here's another one.
Last thing here before we wrap up this midweek edition of Fitz the Bill, somewhere we don't often go, but across the pond, because there was some pretty big news coming out of the Premier League yesterday with Mo Salah. Mohamed Salah and Liverpool announced that he is leaving the club at the end of the season. 9-year run officially over this summer. He asked the club to announce it early out of respect for the fans so they all know and they can get their last looks at arguably one of the best players in Liverpool history. 255 goals, 435 appearances, third all time in Liverpool history, 4 Premier League Golden Boots. One of the greatest. One of the greatest. It's not often we go across the pond, but for something like this, for a guy like that leaving a place that he has been for nearly a decade, I thought it was a good way to wrap up this Wednesday edition.
Man, I remember him and Jordan Klopp at their peak. That was quite a time, man. You could win a lot of money on those guys.
Yeah, you could. Now the team's kind of not falling apart, but it's not the team it used to be.
All good things come to an end. And if we could relate it to our folks here in America who don't understand EPL, it's essentially like the Warriors with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And Klopp would be Kerr. Klopp left a couple of seasons ago, I believe. I would have expected
2024,
I would have expected it to have folded then, but Salah stayed. So essentially Steph Curry stayed and tried to make it work. It's just not going quite well. I think in reality for NBA, Steph would go to Charlotte and end his career. I don't know if Salah has a Charlotte in his heart.
It's called Charlotte FC. It's called the MLS. Get a quick little bag and go to the retirement league.
I mean, if he wanted to, he could definitely do that and kind of position himself like Messi did.
Yeah, I mean, Messi's still raking in the accolades in the MLS.
Messi's obviously the top of the totem, but I would think like Salah, Mbappe, those guys, if they wanted to do a run at MLS.
Mbappe, they could do a 3-year run.
Surprised we haven't seen Neymar yet.
Neymar's getting all that money in Saudi Arabia.
Well, he's often injured too. I just figured
he's always hurt. Yeah. It's the same with Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo's over there in Saudi Arabia, but I mean, look, those are like guaranteed contracts. They don't even got to play. They just give him the money. That's a setup. But
Ronaldo sat out. They changed the whole way they do business for Saudi Arabia.
Rumblings though around Steph going to Charlotte.
Yeah, he didn't help it when he was like, I'm not going to rule that out.
And it doesn't help that he asked his dad, if I come to Charlotte, would you let me take the 30 out of retirement? Because Charlotte just retired Del Curry's number 30. I think his dad said yes.
No, man. Come on. You got to say no.
No.
Be old school. Be tough. No,
it's your kid.
Get your own number, boy.
He is his own number. He's wearing that 30.
Not in Charlotte. I did that.
Could you imagine Steph with LaMelo, Brandon Miller next season? That's the best team in the Eastern Conference.
He's going to hit LaMelo in the back of the head with the ball, though. Ironically, could have been in Golden State. It could have been if they hadn't got Wiseman.
That Wiseman pick ruining the end of Steph's career. So you hate to see it. All right, that'll do it for Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Keep it locked, though, right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We've got Clinton and Friends into the Rich Eisen Show, and then we've got the new Sports Huddle starting at 4 live from the capital of the Commonwealth with Matt and Bob.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL.